Last week I started making the skirt from Mira's golden outfit from the new film K-pop Demon Hunters, and this week I'm going to start making her jacket. So, to make Mira's jacket, I'm going to be using a pattern from this Japanese pattern book. Now, I've had this for close to a decade now, and even though it's in Japanese and I can't really read Japanese, one thing about properly made patterns is a lot of patterns use universal symbols for their instructions. So if you have good pattern knowledge, even if the pattern is not in your native language and the pattern is made well, you should be able to still make the pattern. I'm going to be using this blazer pattern, and then I'm just going to be adapting it slightly. I'm not going to make the jacket pattern from scratch from this, mostly because I'm not really a tailor, and also this costume is just for fun. I'm gonna save a lot of time by using a pattern that already exists and adapting it slightly. As you can see, all the patterns are quite a mess. This is quite common when you buy a pattern book. This is how the patterns will be laid out, where they're all overlapping each other. But I've just got my dot and cross, and then I'm gonna just trace out everything I need. All of the pattern pieces are cut now, so I'm just going to take the body pieces and I am going to just crop some length off them, because at the moment this falls onto the hips. So I've just finished sewing everything up. So the next stage is to insert the sleeves. For my sleeves, I've done a 2-part sleeve. You can see the seam there. You can also see the armhole opening has a very distinctive shape. And this shape really helps to create a really structured shape at the shoulder, even if it's in a bit more of like a flimsy fabric like this. Just the dramaticness of that curve going into here creates a really strong shoulder line, which always looks really good on dance costumes, which obviously as K-pop idols, they are dancing in their costumes. So hopefully this will help to create a really strong structure, which will then look really good once the epaulets are on here. So I got the fashion layer of the jacket finished last night, and it's super sparkly. The only thing that's missing from fashion layer currently is the standing collar, but otherwise it's all pieced together now. What I need to do next is make a full lining for it, as this fabric is very itchy, as the sequins are just made on a mesh. So it's also a little bit transparent, but the main thing is that because it's on a mesh, you can feel the sequins through it, so it's really, really itchy. So it needs a full lining, and also this fabric is quite a lightweight, so it needs a bit more structure to it. So to do the full lining, I basically need to repeat everything I've done here all over again, but with the lining fabric. And then once the lining is made, I can piece them together. Then I can add the collar on, and then I can start doing all of the gold trim. So I got the lining in place and the collar on, and now I'm just going around and tacking the gold trim around the edge. I'm just going to tack it into place, as my plan is to put sequins all along the top of it, as in the film you can see on the jacket where there's like the gold trim that goes along the edge, there's sequins on the trim. So I'm gonna do sequins so that it's just like it is in the film. I just finished getting all the gold trim tacked down, and it's starting to look a bit more like how it should. I think what I'm going to do now is just do a couple of the sequins, mostly because I'm trying to be more careful with my hands, because I've been finding that if I hand sew for too long it can make my hands really ache. So I think I'm just going to do a couple to show what it's going to look like, and then I think I'll probably leave the jacket for this week at this point. So this is how the costume is currently looking. I think I'm gonna leave it here for this week. So the jobs in the next week will be doing all of the gold sequins down here. I also need to finish the gold trim on the armholes, and then I also need to make the epaulets, the shoulders, and then I can start working on the top that goes underneath there. And then once kind of the main costume is done, I'm gonna start thinking about shoes, wig, and possibly also making her spear, but I don't know quite yet if I'm going to do a spear, as I don't particularly enjoy making props. But thank you for watching the jacket progress so far, and I hope you'll tune in for the next part of making Mira's golden outfit.